You ever notice how the loudest people online often have the least to say, and the quiet ones, the ones who rarely post, rarely comment, seem to see right through everything? If that's you, if you've ever felt like you don't fit in with the noise of social media, congratulations. You're not average. Because silence, real silence, in a world that never shuts up, is a form of intelligence. I used to feel guilty for not posting much. Friends would tell me, bro, you need to be more active. Show people what you're doing. And I tried, but every time I forced myself to post, I felt fake, like I was performing for approval I didn't even want. Then one day I read Schopenhauer, and his words hit me like lightning. The more unintelligent a man is, the less mysterious existence seems to him. That's when it clicked. Maybe silence isn't weakness. Maybe silence is wisdom in disguise. Let's decode it. 11 powerful reasons why some people stay silent on social media, and why that silence means you think on a deeper level than most. Number 1, you observe before you speak. You are not silent because you have nothing to say. You are silent because you see too much. You've noticed how the world rushes to speak before it understands, how people share opinions before they've even listened. But not you. You pause. You take a step back. You read the room. Not just the words people write, but the emotions hiding behind them. You sense the insecurity in loudness, the desperation in constant posting, the emptiness behind oversharing. You don't need to compete with the noise. You study it. You're like the person sitting quietly in a crowded cafe, saying nothing, yet somehow understanding everything. And that's rare, because today, silence scares people. It exposes them to their thoughts. But for you, silence is home. You think before you react, and that's a sign of a mature, evolved mind. You don't chase attention, you chase clarity. You'd rather wait until your words carry meaning than speak just to fill the void. That's emotional intelligence at its finest. You don't perform for the crowd, you prepare for life. And one day when you do speak, your words will cut through the noise like truth always does. Number 2, you value authenticity over attention. There's something powerful about not needing validation. While most people post to be seen, you live to understand. You scroll through social media and see how the algorithm rewards exaggeration, how fake smiles get more engagement than real emotions. You see how the system feeds on insecurity, how every like, comment, or share becomes a little hit of dopamine, a small fix that keeps people coming back for more. But you've outgrown that. You crave connection that isn't filtered through a screen. You want real conversations, not empty emojis. When you choose to stay silent, it's not detachment, it's rebellion. You're refusing to play a game designed to make you forget who you are. You're saying, I don't need the world's approval to feel alive. And that's strength most people will never understand. You understand that attention isn't love, it's currency, and you've chosen not to sell your soul for it. That's why your silence speaks louder than the loudest influencer. Because when you don't need validation, you become dangerous to the system. You become free. Number 3, you understand the illusion. You've looked at social media long enough to know it's mostly theater. Everyone is performing, smiling wider than they feel, flexing harder than they live, pretending they're fine when they're breaking inside. You've seen how people share their perfect moments, hiding the nights they cried themselves to sleep. You've realized that the internet is a stage, and most of the audience doesn't even know they're acting too. But you see through it. You understand that what people post is rarely who they are. So you choose silence, not because you're afraid to speak, but because you refuse to participate in something fake. You know that truth doesn't need filters. You don't want to decorate your pain or dramatize your joy just to gain approval. You want to live honestly, not perform constantly. And that's what separates you from the crowd. You've chosen to keep your moments private because you understand their value. Real life happens when the camera is off, and you'd rather feel it than post it. That's not detachment. That's wisdom. Number 4, your energy is sacred. You've learned that your attention is one of the most valuable things you possess. What you focus on grows, and you refuse to let meaningless arguments or digital drama drain that power. When someone tries to provoke you online, you don't engage. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise. You've realized that every time you respond to negativity, you feed it. And every time you withhold your energy, you starve it. You spend your mental energy differently. While others are busy debating strangers, you're investing in your own evolution. You're learning, building, reading, thinking, quietly growing into someone that noise can't touch. That's the beauty of your silence. It's not emptiness, it's construction. You are working behind the scenes while the world is distracted by its own reflection. You understand that not everything deserves a reaction. Sometimes, the most powerful move is to stay still while everyone else loses control. Your silence is not distance, it's protection. It's the quiet armor of someone who knows their worth. Number 5, you think faster than you speak. You've had moments where you wrote a long comment expressing exactly what you felt and then deleted it. Maybe your fingers hovered over post for a few seconds, but your mind stopped you. That's not hesitation, that's power, that's awareness. That's your higher self stepping in to say, not worth it. You don't need to prove your intelligence to people who aren't ready to understand it. You've realized that wisdom isn't shown by how much you say, but by what you choose not to say. You think deeply, too deeply sometimes, and your silence becomes your filter. You see how easily people misunderstand online, how quickly opinions turn into wars, and you choose peace over ego. That's not passivity. That's mastery. Most people type to win arguments. You think to win clarity. You know that words are energy, and once spoken, they can't be taken back. So you choose yours with care, or sometimes not at all. Because true thinkers, true observers don't waste words. They wait for the right moment to speak. And when they do, the world listens. Your silence is not weakness, it's wisdom disguised as stillness. You are not disconnected. You are deeply connected, just not to noise, but to truth. Number 6, you're allergic to superficiality. You can't stand shallow conversations, the kind that revolve around trends, filters, or fake positivity. You crave something deeper. You want words that make you think, emotions that make you feel, and people who mean what they say. When you scroll through endless selfies, choreographed happiness, or empty motivational captions, your soul quietly detaches. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. You're tuned to a different frequency. You hunger for authenticity, for truth, for a glimpse of the human beneath the performance. Most people scroll for distraction. You scroll for meaning. But meaning is rare online, and that's why you stay silent. Schopenhauer would say your intellect is allergic to vanity. You see the illusion, how people chase visibility instead of depth, how they trade honesty for attention, and deep inside, that disconnects you. You feel out of place in a world where everyone's screaming to be seen, but no one's trying to be understood. Yet that's your strength. Because while others chase shallow validation, you're searching for depth, and that search keeps your soul alive. Number 7, you know that silence creates mystery. In a world where everyone overshares, silence is a power move. Most people can't handle not being seen, not being liked, not being known, but you can. And that makes you magnetic. There's a dark psychological truth that most ignore. People are drawn to what they can't easily figure out. Your silence forces curiosity. It makes people wonder, what are you thinking? What are you doing? What do you know that they don't? While others broadcast every second of their lives, you remain unpredictable, unreadable, and that drives people crazy. Your absence creates presence. Your quietness makes people project their own imagination onto you. And in that mystery, you gain influence without even trying. Schopenhauer believed that mystery was the mark of higher intellect, that those who reveal less hold more power. And that's exactly what you embody. You're not silent because you're hiding. You're silent because you don't need to explain yourself to be understood. Your mystery speaks louder than their noise ever could. Number 8, you protect your peace. Every time you resist the urge to argue online, to clap back, or to prove a point, you're showing something most people never master: emotional control. You've realized that peace is expensive, and not everyone deserves access to it. When someone tries to provoke you with their opinions, you don't respond, not because you're weak, but because you value your inner calm more than being right. That's wisdom disguised as restraint. Most people think silence means surrender, but you know it means power. It means you've evolved beyond reaction. You understand that no one truly wins an argument online, only algorithms do. You'd rather keep your peace than lose it to someone who feeds on chaos. Every time you walk away, you choose self-respect. You choose maturity over noise. That's not detachment, that's discipline. You've built a psychological shield around your mind, and now not everyone can reach you. That's real strength, calm, unshakable, unbothered. Number 9, you've outgrown validation. There was a time when likes, follows, and shares meant something, but not anymore. You've evolved beyond that invisible leash. You no longer crave approval from strangers to feel good about yourself. You've built your own internal validation system. That's what Schopenhauer meant by a self-sufficient mind, someone who doesn't rely on the noise of others to define their worth. You are that mind, and that's terrifying to people still trapped in the system. Because when you stop chasing validation, you become uncontrollable. Algorithms can't manipulate you. Opinions can't shape you. You start moving through life with quiet confidence, not because people approve of you, but because you approve of yourself. You stop performing and start living. You stop seeking and start becoming. That's freedom. Pure psychological liberation. The kind most people never experience because they're too busy being seen instead of being free. Number 10. You understand real life is offline. You've realized that the best moments in life don't need witnesses. They need presence. When you're out in nature, sitting with a friend, or watching the sun disappear beyond the horizon, you don't feel the urge to capture it. You let it be. You feel it instead of framing it. You understand that a moment's beauty is in its impermanence, not in its uploadability. The irony? That's exactly what everyone online is searching for, to feel alive again. But they're too busy documenting life to actually live it. You, on the other hand, have chosen to step away from the constant broadcasting. You prefer experiences over exposure, connection over display. You understand that happiness is not a post, it's a presence. You don't need to prove you're living, you simply live. And that quiet decision makes your life infinitely more real than the curated chaos others call existence. Number 11. You're becoming what society secretly fears, someone who thinks independently. When you stop broadcasting and start observing, you break free from the invisible manipulation cycle, the trends, the ads, the fake perfection that feeds on conformity. You begin to think for yourself. You stop needing others to tell you what's cool, what's right, or what's worthy. And that, in today's world, is almost revolutionary. Silence at its core is rebellion. It's how you reclaim your mind from the noise. You disconnect from mass opinion and reconnect with truth. You become unpredictable, unprogrammable, someone who can't be easily influenced or sold to. Society doesn't know how to handle people like you because your independence threatens its control. Schopenhauer would call you an awakened spirit, one who sees through the illusion and refuses to bow to it. Your silence isn't emptiness, it's awareness. It's proof that you're evolving into something the modern world has almost forgotten, a free thinker. And that's dangerous in the best way possible. So if you've ever felt out of place on social media, don't apologize for it. You're not behind. You're not boring. You're simply awake in a world that's asleep. Remember, Schopenhauer said that truth is often lonely because most people prefer illusions, but you're not most people. You dare to think. You dare to feel deeply. You dare to be silent when everyone else screams for attention. And that silence is your strength. If this message spoke to your soul, then you belong here. Subscribe, because this channel isn't for the ordinary. It's for the thinkers, the silent ones, the ones who see what others can't. Welcome. You found your tribe.